What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. And in today's video it is the predictions for UFC 321. We're back in the oil territory, we're back in the land of the sand people for another Abu Dhabi pay-per-view. We get these once a year. I'm thinking it's only a matter of time before we're getting about 4 pay-per-views in the Middle East a year, and about 17 cards total. You know, that's the future of the sport, but I'm not going to complain, because it usually results with stacked cards, and the UFC rarely comes to Australia, and when they do, it's to fucking Perth, so I never go to any of the cards anyway. So hopefully the February pay-per-view is good, but I do feel bad for the other countries that actually have good fighters and just don't get any events. But it is what it is. Stacked cards follow with sand oil money, so yeah, we got a pretty solid card right now. Look, the main event, while it's interesting in a lot of aspects, it doesn't seem particularly compelling on paper. I don't think anyone other than probably Rigo, because he's a just contrarian, annoying little pedophile retard. I don't think anyone other than him is going to be picking Ciryl Gane, just for the sake of being different. So we'll see what happens there. But it just doesn't feel like a particularly even or close competitive matchup on paper, which is usually what you want to really get hyped up about an event. And then even in the co-main event, it's just dude, does anyone think this is a title fight? It would do this fight would get as many eyeballs on the prelims of an Apex card as it will in this co-main event spot. No single more person is gonna care, because it's technically for a belt. So, but other than that, honestly, I think there's 4 or 5 other fights that I'm actually more interested in than almost than the main event. The main event to me is the 4th or 5th most interesting fight on the card, and then there's so many fights. Almost every fight is more interesting than the co-main event. Anyway, let's get started. So, first fight of the night, one of 2 women's fights on the card, I believe. Yep, I think, yeah, 1 of 2, you know, 2 too many if you ask me, but Jacqueline Yamarim is actually somewhat entertaining as far as women's fighters go. She's a good grappler, relatively high octane finisher, I guess you could say, or high regulatory finisher. She gets finishes quite often on the ground. She's just bigger than all of her opponents, and I think we're just going to see that here. This is a pretty straightforward pick. Mizuki, anyway, has not fought since September of 2023, I believe, on an Apex card, which if my memory serves me correctly, was headlined by Corey Sandhagen and Song Yinong. You can fact check me and check my hardcore status. Oh no, 2023, that was 2022, sorry. September 2023 would have been Fiziev Gamrot. There you go. But regardless, let me just double check that, just because I like knowing that I'm a hardcore fan, you know. But I'm going to be picking Amarim regardless. She's going to take her down. She is going to beat her up. It was Fiziev Gamrot. Yeah, I was right. Sorry. The September Apex card was the year before, with Sandhagen, Song Yinong. But yeah, she's going to take her down. She's going to beat her up. I don't think anyone's that good. I would assume she is not the sister of the boxer anyway. Because yeah, I don't know why the fuck you'd be doing MMA. But, you know, maybe that's the common name in Japan, I guess. Yeah, we will be running with the agenda that this is Inoue's sister. Anyway, let's move on. Next up, Azat Maksum versus Mitch Raposo. Mitch Raposo just feels like the most fucking just NPC career starter mode level fucking flyweight you'll ever see. He looks default settings. Just in terms of how he fights, in terms of how he looks, this looks like if you just set everything to 50 overall, or 40 overall, and just chucked him out there. Mitch Raposo genuinely sounds like a fucking career-generated name. But I'm going to be picking Azat Maksum. I thought he kind of could have beat Tagir Ulanbekov. And Tagir is not bad. His win over Clayton Carpenter hasn't aged particularly well, but also dropping Charles Johnson and almost finishing him in round 1 before he came back and won the 2nd and 3rd is not a bad look. Charles Johnson, anyone who struggled or lost to Charles Johnson, none of those wins or losses have aged well. So the wins have aged well, the losses, or none of those performances have aged badly, you know. So yeah, I would say that that he should beat Mitch Raposo pretty comfortably. Raposo fought Sumo Doji in his last fight and just kind of got boxed up on the outside. Or not even boxed up, just got outstruck because he shot takedowns and Sumudaji didn't do anything. I don't think he's going to have as much success if he shoots takedowns on Maxim, who has a decent submission game. I think he almost had Charles Johnson in a DAS, and I think his just anti-grappling game is better too. He didn't get like ragdolled by Tagi. He actually had a relatively competitive match on the feet from memory. Let me just check the stats of that fight real quick. But I remember that fight being pretty close, and the scorecards were just like, what the fuck? Why is it that... Like, it was like 30-27, 30-27, 29-28, and everyone was like, dude, that fight was, like, close. He's going to have a reach advantage too here as well, Maxim. I just think everything about this favours him. The fight with Tagi, yeah. Tagi had a submission attempt on him. Tagi went 0 from 8 on takedowns. Maxim actually took him down 3 times. And the striking numbers and significant strikes were pretty close. So yeah, I think, despite the fact Tagi, I don't believe he's like top 10 caliber, I think he would absolutely run through and submit Mitraposo. So I will pick Maxim to beat him. I'll say by decision though, because we haven't seen a lot of finishes from him in the UFC, or any, I don't think. Anyway though, let's move on. We got some obese individuals right now. We got some fat boys, some blobs. Hamdi Abdul Wahab versus Chris Beast Boy Barnett. Hamdi the Hammer, Hamdi the Wahab the Kebab, you could call him, you know. Who knows? But I think he's going to beat Chris Barnett. Now, take the lock thing, the 70% confidence with a grain of salt. Like, I can't... My lock prediction percentage, as you can see, is 78%. It's gone down as the year's gone on, because at the start, I was putting like 2 or 3 or 4 locks a card. Now I'm just putting like half of my picks. I'm just like, alright, which half of my picks am I more confident with, and just calling them locks. So the lock percentage is kind of taking a dip. If I was starting next year, I'm going to be really cautious with it, and like only put it for really, really confident picks. Which I would still have some wrong, you know, like I thought Danny Barlow was a lock to fucking tune up Jordan Santos because I thought he was a bum. That was wrong. I thought Bakov was a lock to just ragdoll Belgarou. Like, I would definitely still have some locks wrong, but yeah, I just kind of be putting like 7 locks on a card. I think for UFC 316, the O'Malley Marab 2 pay-per-view, I had like 9 locks. I put them all in a parlay and won like $200 from like all of my 9 locks on the card, which I think I only got like 1 fight wrong on that card, I believe, or 2. Yeah, I think it was... No, actually, no, sorry. It was 3. It was... I got the Bautista fight wrong. I got the Sergey Spivak-Waldo Cortez fight wrong, which I thought I got right. I thought Spivak won. And then I got the Chaos Williams fight wrong. And then every other fight on the card I picked right. And like almost all of them, I just had them as locks. But regardless, how old do you guys think Chris Barnett is? There's 2 questions. How big do you think Chris Barnett is? How fat? Like, what do you think his BMI is? If you got that tested, well, that's the first question. Drop the timestamp this in the comments and let me know. What do you think Chris Barnett's BMI is? Just eyeballing it. And also, how old do you think this man is? Because he's 39 years of age. Spoiler, because I mean, that's retarded because I've just told you to guess in the comments. But yeah, this man is 39. He is fully washed. He went out there and like Brian Ortega Max tore his fucking leg jumping up in the warm-ups. This man is too big to be jumping. Like, if I cannot trust your body to like physically hold up from you jumping your weight on it and like planting your weight with force, I cannot pick you to win a fist fight. Like, I don't know. He beat fucking Gian Vellante by a spinning wheel kick, and he beat like, I think, like Jake Collier or some shit. But apart, like, he's not good. He's funny. He's a meme. He's just fat, so like people just joke. But like, dude, he's not good. Hamdi, I thought he could have beat Mo Usman in his last fight. He looked fucking geriatric, both of them. They looked obese and shit. But surely he beats 5'8", 300-pounder Chris Barnett in a fucking fight. Like, surely. Anyway, though, let's move on. Jose Delgado. Let me tell you, this kid's an absolute savage. He's gonna fucking knock Nathaniel Wood out in the first round. I'm picking, like, a highlight reel, flying knee type shit. Like, it's just something straight right hand. I think he's gonna fucking finish Nathaniel Wood. Maybe not, like, cold, like, out bad, but, like, I think he's gonna put him away early. And I still think he can win a decision. Like, maybe his cardio is not great, but, like, dude, he's a featherweight. Like, I'm not going to assume that someone at 145 has shit cardio just because they have, just because they have good finishing ability. I'm not going to pick them to, like, have bad cardio. I do think if the fight goes on, longer, Nathaniel Wood can do alright. But honestly, like, I think Nathaniel Wood's honestly more sharp early. Like, as in, just him. Like, I think Delgado's more sharp than him. But, like, if you're looking at his fights, Nathaniel Wood looks better early than late. He's not a guy really that builds into fights. Like, he drops guys early and then just kind of fumbles a finish and ends up going to a decision. Like, I think Daniel Pineda was a decision. The Charrier fight was a decision. And, like, he got dropped by Andre Fili. I'm not that Fili's awful, but, like, dude, this guy just KO'd Haider Emil, who's just, like, a brick chin. Who had a very competitive fight with William Gomez, which is a good win. William Gomez beat Joe Anderson Brito. Like, William Gomez is a, like, fringe, like, top 22-ish featherweight, right? And he beat him. And Haider Emil kind of marauded him and was able to sort of just outdo him on pressure. With his Delgado just said, nah, bro, I'm going to just fucking knee you in the face and just KO you. Like, he's aggressive, but he does well under kind of chaotic pressure, but I think he can also just be a nice, like, distance range strike sniper kind of guy. So I think he's better at catching people in the moments in the pockets, and I think he can do that to Wood here and kind of put a bit of pressure on him and overwhelm him a bit. He's gonna have a reach advantage here. I think big reach advantage, I'd imagine. Let me just pull that up just to check, but Nathaniel Wood has had fights at bantamweight. Like, I think he's big for the weight class. I think he's going to look good here. He's sharp. And this is not quite the test. Let's see the reach. Yeah, it's a 13 centimeter, like 4.5 inch reach advantage. But he's just sharper. I think he's just quicker. Like, Wood's probably a little bit more technical, fundamental with his jab, and he's just, oh my days, mate. Nathaniel Wood, like, he's Dan Hardy fucking war room breakdown, English style boxing, right? But, like, I don't know. It's Nathaniel Wood. Like, he's never really impressed me. I've never looked at him and be like, yeah, that's a fucking top 10 guy. With his, I look at Delgado and I'm like, yeah, that guy could be ranked. Like, that guy could be top 15 right now. That guy could, in the future, crack into, like, the top 5 with the right matchup if he can improve the right things of his game. Now, maybe this is where we just see him kind of get exposed and he ain't ready, and he just gets outboxed. But I think his finishing ability is good enough. And I think Nathaniel Wood is not some, like, iron chin that's going to just eat the shots. So, anyway, let's move on. Next up, Volta Walker, Louis Sutherland. Now, Louis Sutherland, if you looked at his Tapology photo, they would have you believing this man's built like fucking Eddie Hall. Like, built like an absolute brick shithouse. And he's an absolute terrifying force of nature. And he comes into the UFC Perth fight week scheduled to fight Justin Tafa as about a pick'em odds, right? Against Justin fucking Tafa, who's a blob. And he just looks like a random other, like, career mode heavyweight blob. Like, he doesn't look like he's in some crazy good shape. Probably was on roids on the regional scene, let's be honest. And Volta Walker just honestly, it's kind of just like, at heavyweight, if you specialize in one thing, if you have a specialty or you have a, like, skill that is, like, above average, you're gonna be ranked. Like, if you have above average speed, you can probably crack the rankings. If you have above average grappling, especially wrestling, which Volta Walker not so much, but, like, if you have above... Fucking mute my IG notifications, bro. If you have above average grappling, just in general, and submission ability, you will win fights. And we've seen it. This dude subs fucking blobs. Like, this dude just subs NPC bum heavyweights who don't know how to grapple or defend a heel hook, who are clueless on the ground. And I think Louis Sutherland's going to be one of them. So give me Volta Walker for a 4th consecutive heel hook submission. Which is surely not been done ever. So yeah, I think we're going to see Volta Walker go out there, just kind of blob his way in. There is always a risk that he gets KO'd on the feet because he's so fucking open, and Sutherland does look like he cracks based off the regional scene footage. So, like, he does just run in like a tard, but assuming he can get even body contact with Sutherland, he's going to push him against the cage, he's going to do some shit, he's going to work for a takedown, and then just bang, you're going to drop for a fucking heel hook and sub him. So, yeah, give me Volta Walker by heel hook. Anyway, let's move on. Next up, Abdul Karim Al-Salawadi versus Mateus Camilo. I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care. This fight is so irrelevant, bro. Like, this and the women's fight is probably the most, and the Maxim fight, are just extremely irrelevant. Like, does anyone fucking care about this? No, but I'm going to pick Salawadi. Camilo's young. He just looked inexperienced against, what's the guy's name? Fucking Gay. Oh, that, like, Taco Tacos, like, First Evolution. Fuck, what's the kid's name? Gabriel Green, who went bald and looked low key like a Tuco Tacos type vibe. Let me look that up. But I'm going to pick Salwadi. He beat George Hardwick. As much as I give the Hardwick brothers shit and they're both bums, kind of, he did look impressive in that fight. And from memory, he was beating Rajdabov until he randomly got caught and finished. And Rajdabov's a thick dude. Rajdabov's got some pop. Let me look up Gabe Green real quick. But Rajdabov's got pop. I think Rajdabov would beat Camilo very easily. And I don't think Gabe Green is good. I do not believe Gabriel. Yeah, he looks kind of like a little bit Taco Tacos-y in that, with the bald head and the beard, the Sean Sharaff Tuco Tacos look. But yeah, give me Salwadi, push a pace. Camilo looks like he gets pretty easily broken in fights, so yeah, I think he'll get takedowns. Just kind of grind on him for a decision. Anyway, though, let's move on. Next up, Ludovic Klein versus Matusz Rambecki. I'm going to pick Ludovic Klein. I think Rebecki, I'm going to tell you the same thing everyone's been telling you, which is this man is getting in too many wars, bro. This man is taking too much damage for a man in his early 30s, and he's going to be CTE maxing, bro. He just gets in wars all the time. And I think Klein is a cleaner, not more dangerous. I think Rebecki's got a bit more physical, just like power and strength. But I think he's just a cleaner, bit more pop on his shots. Not like power, but like just crisper striker. I think he's going to do more. I think he's quicker. I think he's going to be higher output, maybe. Look, this is just going to be a scrap, dude. Like, if Rebecki's chin holds up, he can just always push a pace, and it's difficult to know, like, who's going to come out on the other end. But I still don't rate Chris Duncan that highly. Like, I just don't. Sorry, I'm just moving a fucking charger. I don't rate Chris Duncan that highly. And he was able to just kind of outspeed and get to the punch on Rebecki. Rebecki also got tuned the fuck up by CDF, which not aged particularly well, coming off 2 losses, Carlos Diogo Ferreira. Compared to Ludovic Klein, who, okay, yeah, you lost to Gamera by decision, where he had a decent third round, but it was just mostly wrestling. I don't think, although he can wrestle Rebecki, but I do not think Rebecki's the same level of wrestler as Gamera. I know they're both Polish, named Mateusz, but like, not the same wrestler, not the same grappling skill. So yeah, give me Ludovic Klein. Dude, like, Oral By was kind of putting it on. The cardio as well for Rebecki's not phenomenal. And he just gets tagged up and he wears damage a lot. Gets a lot of damage on his face, dude. So I'm going to say, yeah, Klein by either TKO, depending on how, like, if his chin holds up. I'll say decision because I think Rebecki's just that tough. But a TKO win would not surprise me for Ludovic Klein, maybe based off a cut or something like that. But anyway, let's move on. Next up, Ikram Aliskerov versus Yoon Park. Now, this was one where originally when it was announced, I was like, low-key, I could be crafty with a Yoon Park pick. But, like, he wasn't... I know he got a legal in need, but, like, even before then, he wasn't looking... bless you, thank you. He wasn't looking particularly, like, phenomenal against Ismail Nurdiev. So I can't act like that was like it was a gritty win, but like I think Nurdiev's mid as fuck and hasn't looked that impressive. Like, he beat Bruno Silva by decision after coming back to the UFC after like multiple years off and not even like positive record in the regional scene. Like, I think he went 1-2 in the regionals, or like 2-3 or something, and then just came back and just got signed coming off like 1 win. So I don't think Nerdy was that good. Ikram went, Yoon Park went to a decision with him. Compared to Ikram, who I know he got KO'd by Whitaker, which is a bad look. He got caught. It is what it is. But like, apart from that, again, the level of competition, Phil Hawes, Wally Alves, and Andre Meniz, not high level, but I think his striking is dangerous. I think he's got pop, and I think he can kind of blitz Park. And I think his grappling is good too. Park also fought Meniz. You can look at common opponent and be like, Park fought Meniz and lost a controversial decision, which I thought he could have won, but still was struggling in the grappling. And Ikram does have a grappling background. He can mix it up if he wants. So I think his better path to victory is grappling, to be honest. But I think even on the feet, he can just out-damage and outland Park. Anyway, though, let's move on. Next up, Nazrat Hakprast versus Quillan Salkilld. I don't know how to say his name still. His name's really weird. The triple L in the name is fucking odd. It's hard to pronounce, but it could just be exactly how I said it. But anyway, I'm picking Quillan to get the win here. Maybe fuck Quillan. Bro, Loki has 5 L's in his name. What the hell? But he's going to be taking a W this weekend And that was awful. And I think he's gonna beat Akbrast. I'm not confident. This is probably my like lowest confidence. It's fucking raining outside. Lowest confidence pick on the card. Because it is in Abu Dhabi, so you know some judge named fucking Ahmed is gonna score it for Nasrat 30-27 when he gets outlanded by 20 strikes a round and gets taken down 4 times. So yeah, Ahmed is going to be coming in clutch with the 30-27 split decision scorecard for Nasrat. But if Quillan fights well and doesn't get robbed, I do think he can win this fight. I think his grappling is good. I know Akbrast, historically solid defensive wrestler, but let's just look at his resume. I don't think he beat Esteban Ribovic. And also, Akbrast, not a guy who builds into fights as much. Like, he does a bit, but like, Ribovic was the one to... I know Ribovic is just crazy output, but Ribovic is the one who kind of came back and built into their fight and won rounds 2 and 3 in my eyes. He does have a bit of pop early, so Salkilld needs to watch himself on the feet. Like, his striking style and kind of his stance and where he holds his hands, it is a little odd, like the way he kind of backs up and circles to his left a lot. It is a little bit concerning, and like, you know, Ashmuz was being very aggressive and kind of cracking him a little bit, but like, Ashmuz has got a lot of anger in his heart, you know. He's an Israeli Muslim. Don't know how that works, so he's a confused individual. And he was just very angry, you know. He was swinging some big meaty hooks. He was landing a bit. But I don't think Akbrast has that same power. I think he's quick. But, like, apart from, like, packing up Jamie Malaki, he doesn't really put that many guys away, Akbrast. Like, Dan Hooker took him down 3 times. I think if Quillan mixes in grappling effectively... And assuming his cardio is sorted out, because he did look like he gassed a bit against Yanal Ashmuz, but that he was also pushing a very heavy grappling pace in that fight. And Ashmuz kind of just brings an intensity that's sort of hard to counteract, if you know what I mean. So, give me Quillan. I think he can stay on the outside. His kicks are nice too. He's got good straights. I think he'll have a little bit of a reach advantage here too. He's a long-ish guy for the weight class. And I know Akbrast is good. I think he's solid, but like, dude had a fairly competitive kind of scrap with Landon Quinones, who lost on tough and just got signed for no reason. Like, he's had some fights where it's just kind of like output based decision, and Akbrast is low-key the GOAT of winning robbery decisions. He did it against Jared Gordon, he did it against Esteban. So like, there's a good argument for him to be 0-2 right now in his last 2. So hopefully, if it is close this time, he doesn't steal another decision based on home crowd judging. We will see. I will not be upset with myself if Salkilld loses, because this is kind of a bit of a vibes and just supporting the Aussie sort of pick. And yeah, I don't think the win over Gordon is particularly impressive either. It was high out, but it was fun. But like, dude, just beat Jared Gordon clearly. You know, don't rely on a robbery decision to beat Jared Gordon. So yeah, give me Quillan. Anyway, let's move on. Main card: Alexander Rakic versus Azamat Murzakanov. Everyone's gonna either be picking Azamat by KO, or if they're picking Rakic, they're gonna be like, Rakic is gonna run away. He's gonna outpoint him to a decision. No, fuck that. Rakic by knockout, boys. This taxi driver's getting fucking laid out cold. He's gonna whoop up and tune up and school Azamat Murzakanov. I truly do believe that. And if it isn't a KO, it's gonna be an actual dominant decision. I don't think this is a squeaky fucking on the back foot, outstriking, range, boring performance from Rakic. I think he's gonna put it on him. Bro, Twitter, shut up. Yes, I know. Fucking stop replying to me, bro. But what's it called? Rakic is going to tune this man up. I believe that. He's got a fucking massive height and reach advantage. I know Azamat is used to fighting bigger guys, but like, can we really just look at the resume and be dead ass here? Like, Azamat Murzakanov. You can do the as parlay if you want to take Maxim and Murzakanov, I guess. But Ribeiro, good job. You beat fucking Brenson Ribeiro. Do you want a medal? Ribeiro's shit. Fucking hell, I'm burping a bunch. Alonzo Menafield. Like, round 2 finish, kind of scrappy-ish fight. He won, but like, dude, Menafield's dog shit. What's it called? Jacoby. Decision. Close. Debatable, I guess. Like, let me look up the decision scorecards for that. But like, dude, being close with Jacoby, like, to me that says as soon as you fought an actual fucking technical, like, good striker, you struggled. And I think Rakic is more technical and more good than Dustin Jacoby. I think he's got more range, he's got more tools to keep it on the outside and do better on the feet in a ranged striking match. Okay, no, the decision was just 29-28. It is what it is. But still, Jacoby won the third against you. Like, Mirzakhanov's a guy with cardio problems. So, for as much as, like, Rakic did gas and get finished against Yuri, that's just Yuri. Yuri turns on Tard mode and just finishes motherfuckers. Like, that's what he does. I think Rakic, and then, like, before that even, like, dude, Tafon and Chukwi is not an impressive win on your resume. Like, I'm not going to be like, yo, call the cops, he fucking KO'd Tafon and Chukwi. Like, Devin Clark and Tafon and Chukwi, like, cool. You're really good at KOing bums with no defense. Congrats. Like, I swear I'm so... And he's 36. This guy's not a prospect, bro. His man looking like a taxi driver, looking like he's going to say, don't worry, boss, you can pay me back next time at his fucking Savlaki kebab shop. So yeah, give me Rakic. He's better. Dude, Rakic has fought Yuri. He's fought Jan. He's fought Ankalaev. Dude, he won the first round against Ankalaev. I'm sorry, Mirzakhanov is not winning a round or landing a significant strike on Ankalaev. Unless he just blitzed him. And maybe. But, like, I really do not believe that Mirzakhanov wins this fight. If Rakic fights smart and he fights behind his range, sets up his shots and just chews him up and forces Mirzakhanov to come in and make mistakes, I don't think Mirzakhanov is that good. I think he's a very much just like a how the fuck did you get here just via KO. Like, you got here just via big meaty hooks and being a dense, short, 5'10 light heavyweight with a 71-inch reach. Like, dude, there's bantamweights with your reach. Like, there's bantamweights that have your frame, and you're just kind of like a mid-physique light heavyweight. Rakic is fucking enormous. He could fit in a heavyweight and wouldn't look out of... Like, Rakic would look... If he bulked 35 pounds to heavyweight and weighed in at 260 or something, if he weighed in at the 265 pound limit and was a natural, like, big heavyweight with put a bit of size on, bulked the muscle a bit, put a bit of fat on as well, he would still he would be like a Pavlovich shape or a Ciryl Gane shape or an Aspinall shape. Like, not quite the same. But, like, dude, Rakic is big. If Mirzakhanov went to heavyweight, he'd look like your average heavyweight blob. Just, like, 5'10", 5'11", like, just short, fat individual. I think Rakic is just so much better. I think he's a way better striker. And as long as he doesn't just back up and just, like, fight with zero confidence, because then he might just get chinned. I think his counters can be good. And I think if you can keep him on the outside, chew up the legs, just hammer leg kicks. He had Yuri, like, hurting to the legs. He was shooting up Yuri. Now, Khalil was doing well against Yuri, but Yuri looked shit. Rakic genuinely just shut Yuri down and, like, was actively beating him up and then just gassed and was like, why aren't you dead? I think he can crack Mirzakhanov, and I'm going to say, fuck it. We go Jimmy Manuwa mode, Rakic against Jimmy Manuwa, and he chucks up a fucking head kick and chins Mirzakhanov. Like, that, I'll say bold. That's my bold prediction for the card. There you go. Rakic by a flatline KO, or at least finish. Give me Rakic. Anyway, and he can grapple too. If it's like, I wouldn't mind takedowns from him either. So, yeah, Rakic, I just think he's better everywhere. Anyway, let's move on. Next up, Jailton Almeida versus Alexander Volkov. I'll take Almeida. I'll pick Almeida by sub. I think he can get down Volkov and just show levels on the ground. Like, Almeida by, like, Kimura, I'll say, is my prediction. Almeida by, like, a Kimura. I don't think he'd get, like, a rear naked, maybe. Almeida by, like, Kimura straight armbar, similar to how Aspinall got. Or if you can get the back, maybe a ground and pound TKO. But I'll say Almeida by sub. I'll say first round's close-ish. Like, Volkov's kind of tuning him up on the feet. He's struggling with the range. He gets a takedown, I'll say, at the back end of the round. Like, and it's like, okay, I say he'll fail his first takedown, and then it'll be like, oh, he's in trouble now. He can't get his takedown. I'll say he gets one up against the fence, kind of like a trip or something like that, I reckon. And then round two, I think Volkov will be like a little bit more hesitant. He'll back up, and then I think he'll shoot in and get a good time takedown. When Volkov gets a bit overconfident at one point, get him down. And then if he gets him down with time on the clock to work, I do just believe this dude on top is just different. Like, I don't think that many guys are able to get up or just be fine on the ground with him, because he most of the time does hunt submissions, unless it's against Derek Lewis, where he just like pinned his arms down and just like looked into his eyes while sitting on top of him. Like, unless he just gets in fucking cowgirl and just like pins Lewis's arms down and just has a romantic grappling session with him. I think he can look good here against Volkov. Like, Volkov is good. If it stays on the feet, he's gonna fucking tune Almeida up. But Almeida does have pop as well. So if the takedown if the takedown threat gets established early here and Volkov's a bit hesitant, I also could see him like cracking Volkov. Not like putting him away or anything, but like I could weirdly see Volkov like getting stunned. Like, a little bit of a wobble, I guess. But Volkov is one of the better strikers for sure at heavyweight. So yeah, stays on the feet, he'll win. Very striker grapple, like the striker versus grappler matchup in the heavyweight division, really. The only like more striker grappler matchup would be like an Almeida Gane, who just really has no grappling at all. Volkov's improved, he's got bigger, he's bulked a little bit, and he's 6'8", he's 6'6" or 6'8". But yeah, I'm gonna pick Almeida. I think he's just too good on the ground if he gets it there, and I think he will at some point or another. Anyway, though, let's move on. We got Stalin versus Hit Ler over here, boys. We got Wmma versus Bautista. Honestly, why do I hate so many bantamweights, bro? Why do so many bantamweights piss me off? And why are we getting so many bantamweight fights where I want both of them to lose? Because we had Zahabo versus Cheeto, and I'm like, I don't like either of these two. I think both of them are just cockroaches and shouldn't be top 10. And these two, at least I can accept that they're good fighters, but they still just, both of them piss me off for different reasons. Wmma, because of his retarded-ass fan base who don't actually like him for his personality or his fighting ability, just because he's Dagestani. You know the ones I'm talking about. They start with Kenny and end in Okoye. And the other type of ones who are definitely not even remotely close to Dagestan, you know. I'm sensing those Pakistanis on Twitter that are the Wmma fans, and the ones saying Marab's ducking the rematch with Wmma because he dares to speak the name of someone coming off a win. You know, how dare he call for a new contender before calling for a rematch with someone who hasn't actually won yet, and asked for 10 months off to recover from a hand injury instead of fighting Petey on a 6-month turnaround, because Dagestanis can never have anything if it's not completely in their favour. You know, usual shit. But Bautista, I also don't like him, but low-key I'm rooting for him to win. I think Uma's going to win. I don't actually see a world where Bautista wins this. Like, I would be shocked if he did. But what I need is for this to be like, I actually want Bautista to like be the one who should win. Like, I want Bautista to get robbed. That's what I want. That is my ideal scenario. Like, ideal scenario for every Wmma fight is he gets laid out cold. But I don't think that's going to happen. So what we can root for is Bautista to like weirdly overperform, look good, and everyone's like, yo, he actually kind of should win that fight. And then Wmma wins a split decision robbery. And then the Dagestani bullshit who aren't Dagestani, who leech onto any other culture that's not their own, because they don't have any success in their own lives, you know, them type, they will be like, yeah, Marab's ducking the rematch. Oh, it was just an off performance, bro. It was a clear win, bro. Meanwhile, the ones that said Bilal beat JDM. So that's the type. I have deep hatred in my heart for those people. It's not just Kenny. Like, Kenny's just a fucking insufferable rage bait human. But like, there's people who are genuinely just like actually retarded. Who like, I can respect rage bait for interaction and for views. When you're just doing it as just like, you're just fucking being annoying and just insufferable, like, I just hope you die. But, yeah, I think Uma's going to win. I do think he's just going to outdo Bautista everywhere. But, if Bautista's wrestling's good enough, he can keep it on the feet. If he can keep it on the feet, I could low-key see him kind of cockroaching his way to like just keeping up the output a bit. So I could see this being a little bit close, but at the end of the day, it's Abu Dhabi. I think this has got 30-27 Wmma written all over it. Not particularly impressive. Like, I don't think he's going to ragdoll and finish him. If he finishes Wmma, that is Bautista, that is impressive, but I think it'll be a decision. Anyway, let's move on. Now, okay, I don't care about this fight. First of all, if I get this pick wrong, I couldn't care less. I'm picking Dern, fuck it. If the UFC wants her to win, she's going to win. That is purely my logic. There is no stylistic breakdown here. There is no logic to this. There is no, oh, Werner's beating all these people. She's on a win streak. She cares about the game, you know. Fuck all that. Logic does not apply. The UFC is clearly so desperate for Mackenzie Dern to win. They're going to pull something. They're going to find a way. I also think there's going to be a bunch of underdog money on Wmma from people just being like, what is this line? Because as much as Dern is like minus 160, this feels like I'm picking an underdog. When the predictions tracker channel drops his video in like 2 days, right? I guarantee you it's like 75% picking Wmma. So this is going to feel like an underdog prediction for me. I know I haven't picked that many favourites on this card. So that many underdogs. I've picked Rakic as an underdog, and I think Quillan's an underdog. Salwadi's a pick'em. Klein is just off a pick'em. So there's some close odds, right? But I do believe that this should be an underdog pick for me. Like, if the majority and significant majority of people are picking Wmma, then, like, okay, the odds kind of, like, why? Because I think Wmma was, like, opened at, like, minus 200. It was at just pick him for a while, which felt right. Like, it made sense for a fight where they've fought before and Dern's won. Like, if you see a fight where someone won the first fight, but then the other person pretty clearly has been the one who's been doing more and doing better in their career since then, it feels about right to have it as a pick 'em odds. But then, yeah, Dern's kind of ballooned out to like minus 160. Not sure why. Maybe there is reason in behind the scenes. They might know some stuff. I know Wmma has always, like, she's had like knee braces and shit in the past. She is also 37 years old. Like, getting your title shot I know it's women's MMA. They all kind of just are all old, but like, it's heavyweight as well, same sort of thing. But like, getting your title shot at 37. I know she's looked primed. The Yan Jianan win was solid, but Jianan is very ragdollable. You know, I don't think that's particularly impressive. Like, it is. The Lemos submission is impressive. Alright, like, I'll give her that. And Dern, but this is my thing. Dern loses to, like, Andrade. And, like, did she lose to Lemos? Or did she win, like, a fucking robbery decision? I think she lost to Lemos. But it's a different stylistic matchup because she doesn't have the wrestling. Like, her wrestling has not been particularly good in most of her fights. And when it does look good, like, she subbed Reba, so that's a decent win. But yeah, Lemos beat her. But again, that's just on the feet damage-wise. Lemos was tuning up and doing damage to Wmma on the feet too, but Wmma just did a good job at getting it to the ground. Dern dominated on top when she got it there, but just couldn't quite finish. But I don't know, dude. Like, I'm gonna fucking pick Dern. Like, I just genuinely, my logic is just the UFC wants her to win, so she's gonna win. That is what you're getting as a prediction breakdown. Look at embedded. It's going to be 95% Dern, and Wmma's going to say like 2 words, and they'll be like, get it off camera. Get it off camera before the viewers click off. Put Dern's cheeks on the screen, please. So yeah, give me a Dern Goon-based judging decision. Close. Probably people will say robbery and say, oh, it's just because the UFC wanted her as champion. And that is my prediction, so it'll come true, you know. Anyway, let's move on. Main event. Hello, Ciryl. You're a great guy, but I'm gonna have to fucking submit you in the first round. I can't do Aspinall impressions, so why do I try? But I'm not deleting that, you know, leave that in the video. But Tom Aspinall, it's the effort that counts. Tom Aspinall's gonna beat Ciryl Gane. I think he's gonna beat him by submission. What's the messages saying? Check the phone. People just replying to me on Twitter because I said that Shavkat's wins of Magny, Jeff Neal, and Wonderboy were better than Paddy's last 3 wins of Old Ferguson, Bobby Green, and Michael Chandler. And apparently that's like a hot, debatable take, and Paddy actually deserves to be ranked number 5 at lightweight, you know. So it is what it is. But also, hate the fucking thing, this side note, hate the bullshit that people do, like, they take one thing being kind of stupid. Like, yeah, Shavkat probably shouldn't have been top 3 after those wins. But then they'd be like, oh, but that then justifies Paddy. And it's like, no, Paddy should not be top 5. It should arguably not even be top 10. Just side rant there. But I'm picking Tom Aspinall to submit Ciryl Gane. I think the striking exchanges will be a bit more concerning and a bit more close than you'd think if you're an Aspinall fan. Like, I think people are going to be watching this and just being like, Aspinall, however he wants, he's going to KO him in the first or submit him, doesn't matter. It's just how he chooses. It's just whatever method of victory he chooses. And it could be. That could end up being the reality. But I'm kind like, I was originally, because I'm down bad betting wise, like the last 2 cards I have lost significant amounts of money based on just dumb decision making with my money. You know, I had Joel Alvarez. I needed Joel Alvarez by finish. Did not come through for me. And then I was down last week, so I stupidly emergency just bet a bunch of money on RDR, which was retarded and cost me dearly. And now I'm working several hours at my fast food job at minimum wage to make back my money because I'm cooked. But I was considering just putting like every last bit of money I had in my bank account on Aspinall and just being like, all right, we're either just completely cooked or we make this comeback. But then I was like, oh, but why can I weirdly see him like making me sweat this? Like, why can I see this being kind of a struggle? And Gane just overperforming on the feet, and everyone was like, everyone's going to be like, dude, where was this against Volkov? Like, I think that's what people are going to say. Gane's going to show up better than he has in past fights, and people are going to be like, where was this Ciryl Gane? Where was it? Oh la la. Where was this guy? Salkilld. Baguette. Where was this guy? He's gonna log off the FIFA. He's gonna log off the Xbox or the PS4. He's gonna stop fucking acting in his movies, and he's gonna lock in, hopefully, for his sake at least. And I think he's gonna look a lot better than he has in past fights. He's not gonna be getting fucking chinned by Taito Iwasa. He's not gonna be looking like that. But Gane is always gonna be Gane. He's always gonna kind of have that like outside bouncy front foot style, back foot style, with his kind of confident French smug fucking grin that they all have, because they're all like, haha, oh la la, oui, I can stay on the outside and you cannot do anything. This is the way. And then I will demand title shot after beating fat heavyweight, yes. But it's worked, because he's got a title shot off a robbery win over Volkov, so congrats, I guess. But I think Aspinall is just too good. I think he does have fight IQ as well. Like, I don't think Aspinall is a dumb retard. So I was going to say like Ngannou, but Ngannou actually did show fight IQ. You know, just would have thought, you know, based off just IQ maps of the world, if you look those up, you know, you'd assume Ngannou's not that smart of a guy, but he's got some brains in that head of his. So, fair play. He did grapple late against Gane. You would have expected him to just employ that immediately once he realised he was getting outstruck. But I do not think Aspinall is quite at the same speed disadvantage, is what the phrase is, that Ngannou was. Ngannou was at a pretty significant speed disadvantage, and Gane was very elusive. And I think Gane, that version of Gane, is also better than Gane, the Gane that we've seen recently. Maybe not the Gane that we'll see in this fight. We'll find out Saturday night, baby. We'll find out October 26th, brother. Is that actually what day? It's always October 26th. We'll find out Saturday night, baby. October 26th, we're going to find out. But I think Aspinall's too good. I think he can grapple if he's in trouble. I think he can grapple if he's not exactly having the success that he wanted to. But I think he will strike first. I know he said he's like, I'm not going to stand there and have a dick measuring contest with him because he'd probably win both. Literally or figuratively, because he'd probably win both. But with Sergey Pavlovich, and he just KO'd him anyway. So I do think he rates himself, which he should. And I think he'll be confident. So I think he'll strike for a little bit. And I think Gane might start landing the jab and being like, hold on now. Like, wait a minute. Like, we'll be like, hang on, what's he doing? What's going on here? Why is this kind of competitive? But then I think he'll lock in and just kind of bum rush Gane and just get him down. And then once he does, I think he's strong on top. I think he can grapple effectively. So give me Aspinall by either late round 1 or early round 2, or like late round 1 or mid round 2 submission, I'll say, because I don't think he'll get a takedown like immediately into round 2 if it goes there, unless he does what he did against Arlovsky. So give me Tom Aspinall with a fucking cup of bicarbonate soda. But yeah, that's it. My humor's broken, bro. Anyway, that is it, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe. Follow the IG and the Twitter and shit. Left Lane MMA, so you can fucking spam my Twitter replies when I say a take that is just objectively correct. But that will do it, guys. I just realized if you check the timestamps, we got a few interesting timestamps that were not done intentionally. I just looked at them then because I'm keeping them on my phone right now. We got a 6-7 timestamp. We got a 9-11 timestamp, and we got a 17:38. We got a 17:38 timestamp as well, and none of those were intentional, by the way. So yeah, just realized that then. Anyway, the world works in mysterious ways. Anyway, goodbye, guys, and go fucking drink a cup of bicarbonate soda. Goodbye.